What's up, family? This is Nathan Gorham. I am coming to you on a Sunday morning on my way to church, running slightly behind. Judgment free zone, please. But yes, we're on our way to church on Sunday, and I thought about you because recently on a project, I was doing an inspection of work that had been completed. And I wanted to stress the importance of inspections. In the commercial world, when the architect does drawings or does plans for a project, they are also usually responsible for the construction administration, which means that even throughout the course of the construction, the architect remains on board to answer questions, RFI, to review submittals and review change orders, review all the different documents that come from the contractor. So the architect also serves as another inspector, so to speak, of the project while it's being built. But on residential properties, on residential projects, typically you don't really have an architect to do construction administration or an engineer to do the construction administration. And so as the owner, you're responsible for inspecting and making sure that the work that's being completed is in accordance with code. It makes sense. If you have drawings, that is in accordance with the drawings that are completed, that the work is being done in a safe manner and everything like that. Because most cities have inspectors, but a lot of times the city inspectors are just looking for certain things. They're not making sure, they're not doing quality control on your property, on your project. They're just making sure that the work that's being done is in accordance with the city standards. And sometimes, you have an inspector that's doing 4 or 5 inspections a day. They don't have time to look at all the details and make sure that everything is whatever. So they come and sometimes they do a cursory inspection, or they'll just kind of put eyes on it and they won't go delve in too much into the detail. But as the owner, you're responsible. The buck stops with you. So you need to make sure that the work that's being completed is being done properly, right? So one, that means you need to read and inspect the drawings if you have drawings, or the documents, and make sure that you understand all the details, framing details, the specifications on the project, things like that. So you need to understand what's being required on the documents. And then also you need to know a little bit about construction practices and things like that. And if you don't, I recommend that you hire somebody, because you want to make sure that when that project gets built, that it's being built correctly. And a lot of times, depending on your contractor, they'll just build basically what they feel. Sometimes, depending on the level of the project, as far as how much you're paying for the thing, and a lot of factors go into what type of contractor you may be using at any given point in time. But regardless of how good you feel a contractor is, how much they know, all that kind of stuff, it always behooves you as the owner to go back and inspect the property and inspect the work that's being done to make sure that it's in accordance with what is required and that it's up to your standards and that is what you want. And so I think this week we'll probably go to a project so I can show you some of the things that I noticed on our inspection that we have to pull out and redo. But I can remember lots and lots of times where I've gone and looked at something that the contractor's done, and the work really hasn't been what was agreed upon or what was prescribed in the documents or whatever. And I'm thankful that I took the time at whatever stage I was to go and look and inspect the property. And so this is just another note to you as you're on your real estate journey. Go look at the property while it's being built. Don't just accept, anything without putting eyes on it. And also don't pay until you've had a chance to inspect the work. A lot of times I used to believe a contractor when they said they were done, and I would pay them, and then I would go back after the fact, a week later or something like that, and I'd be like, oh man, this ain't done, or something like they didn't clean up after themselves or whatever it is, and I've already paid out the money. And I'm gonna tell you, one thing's for certain, two things for sure, it is a lot more difficult to get a contractor to come back out after you've paid them than it is for them to come out before they've gotten their final draw or what have you. So don't pay. If you haven't had a chance to go inspect the work, don't pay. You need to make the time, take the time, go look at the work, and then tell the contractor, hey, I haven't had a chance to, if they call looking, asking for payment or whatever, and it's like they just finished, they want the payment that day or whatever, let them know, like, hey, I can pay you a portion, but I can't pay you the whole thing because I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. Once I get a chance to take a look at it, I'll make the final payment. But go to their property and look at the work that's been completed and make sure that it's been completed and it's been done the right way. All right, so hopefully next week or this week we'll have some shots of a property that we're working on, and you can see kind of some of the things that I'm talking about. All right, y'all, take care. Have a great Sunday. Hopefully you're somewhere worshiping the Lord on this day. Take care.